Hey there and welcome. In this video, I am going to dive deeper into how to actually use heart rate variability, how I actually use it, how I use it with clients, and how we actually use it as a measure to help reduce the effects of stress. So let's dive in. So I use the M-Wave Pro, which is more geared for professionals because you can have multiple users, which is what I use inside of my program. And there is another version called which is more for consumers. Let me pull it up here so you can actually see, which is called the Inner Balance. And now they have a Bluetooth version and they have a wired version for both Android and iPhone. The technology and what they use is the same. It's just that the M-Wave Pro has a few other bells and whistles, and that's just more for the clinician side of things. The most important thing is that you are getting a look into your heart rate variability and what they are calling coherence as well. Let's break this down and I'll show you a little bit more about how the program works and how we can actually use it. So with any of the HeartMath devices, it comes with a sensor that basically just clips right onto your ear. So like so. And this is what is actually going to measure your heart rate and also be able to measure the variability of those heartbeats as well. So then on the back end, you get to see the software, and let me show you my screen. So this is what the screen looks like. And when I start a session, it's going to take a minute to calibrate. But as you can see on the left-hand side here, it has your heart rate, your beats per minute. And then what you're going to see is your heart rate variability start to show up. So you can see my pulse. I've been talking a lot, so my pulse is pretty high. And you start to get a measure of what the variability looks like as we go along. I use this with either my meditation work or even with breath work, because as we breathe, we're activating the vagus nerve, which also has an effect on our heart as well. So what we see here is that if I then start to go into a state of or meditative state, my heart rate variability will then start to change. So I'm going to stop talking for a sec and I'll show you a clip of what it looks like when I actually start to have a higher heart rate variability, and also when I start to have more coherence. And by coherence, we mean that you're also feeling elevated emotions. You're feeling less of the emotions of stress, so less negativity, less frustration, but more things like happiness, joy, love, etc., because we know that our emotional state is also tied in to our stress response and tied into our heart rate variability. Our heart rate variability also increases when we have more positive emotions. So feeling, again, things like love, gratitude, which is why in your mindfulness practice, you can focus on things like love and gratitude and also get the same benefits of increased heart rate variability, which I find very cool, because that means you are not stuck with one type of meditation or one type of mindfulness practice. You get to pick what actually works for you, which I think is pretty awesome. So let me shut up and actually start to show you, and you'll see at the bottom when I'm more in the blue and the green versus in the red, which means I am more coherent. So I'm actually going to close my eyes and I'm going to start to go into a little bit of heart coherence. So as you can see, just in that short period of time, you can see this increase down here around where it went from red all the way up into the green. So in that period of time, I focused kind of in the area of my heart, and this is what I break down further in my program, the Better Health Blueprint, and how to work with clients. I'm going to pause this for a sec. But in that space, I kind of focus on the area of my heart. Call it your heart center, you can call it your chakra, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. It's the area around your heart. And first get a feeling of that area. Just kind of feel, if you can feel it, follow your heartbeat or whatever. This is one, kind of quieting down your mind and getting you to focus on something rather than all the thoughts that you usually have when you go to sit to meditate. And then on top of that, once you have that feeling, you start to add in what we call like an elevated emotion. So something like happiness, a feeling of joy, a feeling of being in love with life, or feeling of love. We can all find something to relate to. Feelings of freedom, whatever it is that inspires you. And you just kind of focus on that along with focusing on that area. And then you'll start to actually feel a bit better. And you'll see your heart starts to go into what we call this coherence. And you start to have more variability in your heart rate. As you can see, my heart rate variability over here started to really creep up. So that is one way using the heart math products. And again, if you have the inner balance, which is the one for personal use, you'll get the same information here. If you would like to know more about my program, the Better Health Blueprint, and what we do inside there, actually, that program is designed for reducing stress, feeling less anxiety, feeling more energetic. We use a combination of online coursework along with one-on-one sessions with me, and then group coaching calls to help you work through all the material and to further analyze what's going on with you. But mindset is one of the things that we work on. And in the mindset module, we talk about techniques to use to help you become more resilient. So techniques like using heart rate variability, using meditation, using mindfulness practices. And it's all about finding that technique that works for you. So that's where I'm there to help you work with. So if you want to learn more about that program and how to apply, click the link below in the description box, and you can find out more about how that all works and how to work with me. Now let's talk about how I use the Oura ring for looking at heart rate variability as well. So this is the Oura ring, which is a wearable, which is a wearable tracker as well. And one of the great things that it does is measure heart rate variability. Now, again, there are other devices such as the Whoop strap, I know, and I do believe Apple Watch has some sort of ability to measure heart rate variability. I'm not sure how accurate it is. I don't actually use my Apple Watch for that, but I know that there are other apps that you can install along with it to look at heart rate variability. And there's also the Polar chest strap as well, but I don't have any personal experience with those, so I'm not going to include them here. But the Oura ring is another way that I use to track heart rate variability. Now, I know that this has changed a little bit since the Oura 3 ring has come out, and I think now some of the functions you actually need to have a monthly subscription for, which I'm not too jazzed about, but it does work very well. So let me show you with that. Now, I actually use the Oura ring along with the iPhone, so it has an app that goes with it. So I'll put my screen on the screen. So you go into the Oura app, you can add in a meditation session, or a mindfulness session, or you could be working with your breath. So usually what I do, because I do meditate quite frequently, I typically will open what's called an unguided session. And if you want to add music to it, you can. I typically do listen to other types of meditations. I'm a fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'll leave a link in the description to some of his meditations. And I did also mention his book in one of my other videos, Becoming Supernatural. I'll leave a link up here to that video. So it talks about how he uses meditation and his specific different types of meditation. And he also does talk about heart rate variability and the science of meditation and how it all works in that book as well. So definitely check that out. What I will do is put on the Oura ring. I'll sit down to meditate, and then I will start a session. And then once that starts, actually, I will have on headphones and be doing a different meditation. But the reason I want to do this is because I want to see my heart rate variability after I've meditated. And I can usually also associate that with how I feel. So I'll stop the session here. And what you can see, it'll ask you how you feel, if you feel better, if you feel worse, if you feel the same, we'll say same. But it will actually show you what your heart rate variability looked like during that meditation session, and then or that breathing session, and then you can use that to help you figure out, okay, what did it feel like when I was in the zone? How does it feel when my heart rate has a high variability? And you can actually use the feedback from there to then inform how you go forward. Okay, so that was just 2 ways in which I use heart rate variability and incorporate them with mindset or breath work into actually reducing the detrimental effects of chronic stress, getting you back to feeling less stress, feeling calm, feeling collected, and actually accessing your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you have further questions about this, of course, leave a comment below. Again, if you would like to learn more about my program, The Better Health Blueprint, click the link down in the description box and you can learn a little bit more. And if you want to know a little bit more about meditation, be sure to check out this video in which I go into a little bit more depth, and its partner video where I actually have a short meditation for you as well. All right, I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so that you can know when I post new videos every week. And of course, share this video with someone that you think it might help, because it helps other people find the channel as well. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.